sur mon lit à bouffer sa langue en buvant prends mon whisky. Quant à moi, peu dormi, vie débris, mais j'ai dû dormir dans la gouttière où j'ai eu un flash.
G'day tubers and welcome to Ozzie RV Adventures Part 46 Part 2. Usual thank yous to my subscribers and my viewers and anyone else who contributes anything at all. I did this ass about this first part about the City of Parks should have been on the first part of Part 1. Anyway, just reverse it in your minds and you'll be alright. So, yeah, let's go and have a bit of a look at Parks itself, and then we'll cruise out and have a look at the big dish. Welcome to Parks, tubers. This is a little bit of aerial stuff just on top of what's known as Memorial Hill, and you'll see the statue or tower very shortly up here. Lovely town. I think it's about 15,000 people. Beautifully kept as usual. I've mentioned the pride of these country towns before. They keep it very nice, and it's a credit to the people here. Oh, I nearly forgot to tell you, everything here revolves around Elvis Presley. They have a Memphis hotel, a Gracelands hotel, so yeah, very heavily Elvis orientated. This is Memorial Hill, people. It's basically in the, well, not quite the centre, but it's the highest point, I guess, in Parks. And as I say, you get 360-degree views, but it's a monument to those Australians who have fallen in whatever war. As I say, I've said before, you see these in most towns, and I think it's good that, you know, we remember these people. They did some pretty heroic stuff. Well, the last time I was here, it was about 1975, I think it was, on a caravan trip with Mum and Dad. This is the Parks Radio Telescope. It's about 30k out of Parks to the north. Yeah, well worth a visit. It's a free tour, but it's got a lot of history. It was finished about 1961, I think they said. So it's helped with the Apollo missions and that sort of thing. Sometimes this could actually hear the radio transmissions from the moon where they couldn't hear it in the northern hemisphere. So there's some pretty interesting stuff here. Well worth a look. This is interesting. This apple tree is a direct descendant from Newton's apple tree. There's a few different walking tracks that you can choose to walk around here, tubers. I just took the ones about half an hour, and you basically look at each of the different open cut mines. So yeah, it's got some good lookouts. Interesting sculptures, all made out of flat pieces of steel. Welcome to Albury, tubers, on the mighty Murray River, which creates the border for Victoria and New South Wales. The other main thing about Albury is it's on the Hume Highway, and that is the main road between Sydney and Melbourne. So there's a lot of trucks coming up and down here all day and all night, because it is a big transport corridor, as well as probably a rural service centre. So yeah, but lovely place, well worth a look. This is the high point over the town of Albury, and it is a very significant place. It's a war memorial. It's lovely, and it remembers all soldiers who died in all conflicts that Australia has been involved in. There's a couple of blank spaces too, and I hope we don't fill them, because that means that we would have been at more war. But yeah, lovely place, and you get a good view out over Albury. But yeah, as I've said before, it's we've got to remember these people that fought for the country, especially when Australia was under attack in Darwin, and that's our only attack, but that did happen, and it was quite significant. Apparently, it was considered worse than Pearl Harbor. The other thing to consider too is one of the shots that you just saw. Have a look at the age of some of the guys: 18, 19, terrible to be going overseas fighting a war at that age, or at any age. Well, tubers, this is the mighty Murray River. We saw this about 3 weeks ago at Tokemall. This is obviously a lot further upstream than there, but what this river actually does is supply water for the Lake Hume. And at Lake Hume there is a big dam, and underneath that they run a power station which supplies power to a lot of parts of New South Wales and Victoria. So, and of course it's, there's probably a lot of recreation on the lake, water skiing, fishing, so on and so on and so on. Even though, funnily enough, I saw very few people here at this time of the year, but once again, lovely and well worth going and have a look. It's a short drive out of Albury, so it's easy. The hills that you can see off in the far distant horizon and further on are actually the start of the Australian Alpine area.
This is the boat ramp at Lake Hume, guys, or one of them. I don't know how many there is. Beautiful spot. That's sort of part of the resort over there, and they don't want $1 million to stay there, but that's all right. I think I read somewhere that Lake Hume is bigger than Sydney Harbour. I could be wrong, but looking around, it's absolutely beautiful here, and the water's not bad. Right over there, you'll see some houses. That'll be a nice spot to live, but yeah, I don't think it'll be cheap. Surprisingly quiet, I suppose, but the kids are back to school and that, but you'd reckon there'd be people swimming, but no. Anyway, got the place to myself.
If you're coming to Wodonga, people, you have got to go to the Bandiana Military Museum. They have got absolutely everything here, and well worth a look. Mainly centred around the army and its various bits and pieces that they do. Here's an interesting gun, AK-47 Kalashnikov, captured obviously.
October 1915.
Gotta love Australian ingenuity, people. This is the drip gun, or a model thereof, that the Anzacs used when they were evacuating Gallipoli. It was there to trick the Turks into thinking that the Australians were still there. Of course, they were making their escape while the gun kept firing. I've seen this sort of stuff before, guys. It's trench art, and I think the soldiers made it between battles, I suppose, and made it out of old shell casings. Interesting little device, tubers, on the front of this Jeep. It's a wire cutter. Apparently some of the enemies used to string wires and whatnot across the roads in the hope of obviously decapitating a soldier. A lot of this stuff's not designed for comfort, tubers. I mean, have a look at the driving position of this thing. Plus, you're probably out there in the rain or the stinking hot sun, some bloke firing at you. I mean, it couldn't be a hell of a lot of fun, could it? Definitely not built for comfort. This is a gun or cannon all rigged for a parachute drop. I mean, have a look at the strapping and all the stuff holding all this down. I suppose you need it, but what a bloody job setting all that up. Tell you what, tubers, coming up is a stark reminder of one of the realities of fighting. These instruments are surgical instruments of various kinds. I tell you what, they don't look much bloody different to the tools I use for working on cars and making things like that. I mean, they're all basically the same. Well, that's just about it for this one, tubers. Yeah, we're back off to Melbourne tomorrow, being Sunday. Hopefully, I should miss all the traffic. I'm certainly not driving into Melbourne in peak hour. It's been a good trip, and we've seen a lot of stuff, and that's what it's all about, getting away and having a look. And we'll be doing another one fairly shortly. We've got a little bit of work to do on Zuki and a little bit to do on the elephant, but yeah, we've had a good trip, we've had fun, but like all things, I suppose that must come to an end. And yeah, so I shall see you people in part 47. Thank you to my subscribers and my viewers and anyone else. And I hope you all stay clear of the China virus. Take care, people. See you next time.